Hi, good afternoon, parents. I wanted to take a minute to explain our homework for tonight, which is breaking apart to multiply. I want to apologize first. I know I sound super congested. I am, but I'm gonna power through that, and I hope you can understand what I'm saying. So, if you look at today's assignment, you'll notice that the first six exercises look a little weird, and you might be wondering where did they get all of these equations from. Today's concept really, or today's homework, the concept is really to understand that one way of breaking or solving a two-digit by one-digit multiplication problem is to break the two-digit number apart. Again, I know this is not the way that we learned it when we were in school, and so I will actually be teaching that method, but in the grand scheme of things, in third grade, we like to teach how there are many different ways to solve multiplication, or not just multiplication, but to solve math. And so this is just one way to solve two-digit by one-digit multiplication problems. I encourage you, please, to stay with this concept today. I know you might be wanting to show your child how you learned it in school, and that's totally fine, but today's concept is to understand how to break the two-digit number apart. So if you'll see the first six, like I said, I call these the training wheel exercises because they are guiding the student to the answer, but sometimes these training wheel exercises can be very confusing for the child. These shouldn't, because we did these types in our practice, but they might be a little confusing for you. So if your child was having a hard time paying attention in class that day, or they may have forgotten, they might not exactly know why it's broken up this way. So that you understand, 56, when we decompose it using that vocabulary word, when we take 56 apart, we want to know what is the value of 56. Well, it's really a 50 and it's a 6. So that's where we get these two numbers from right here. So we want to take 56 and we're going to break it down into 50 and 6, and we multiply it, we distribute it. And this is actually the distributive property. You can bring that vocabulary word in tonight when you're talking about this with your child. When we multiply 4 times 50, it's a multiple of 10. Anytime you multiply times a multiple of 10, the easiest thing to do, and your child, we worked on this today, the easiest thing to do is just to cover up the 0 and think, well, what's 4 times 5? Okay, so that's 20, and then put that 0 back. Far too often this is something that the kids forget to do, so just double check that they're putting that 0 back, because that wouldn't be reasonable. That 4 times 50 would be 20. And then we say 4 times 6, and we know our facts, that's 24. We're going to bring this 200 over here, and we're going to bring that 24 over here as our add-ins. And then when we add 224, we get 224. Now this was an easy problem for us to do mentally. However, there are some times where this number right here doesn't have the 2 zeros in there, and the 10's in the 1 spot. And when that happens, sometimes that can be very hard for your child to see it and do it mentally. So I always encourage them to write it vertically and put each digit in its room. If you'll humor me, they'll know what I'm talking about, what you're talking about if you say put it in its room. So 0 plus 4 is 4, 0 plus 2 is 2, and 224. Again, this is probably horizontally is something that they could do mentally, but when we start to get to the 3-digit numbers where there's only the 0 in the ones place, sometimes that can get very confusing for them. So all of these training wheel exercises are broken down like that to help guide the student as to how they can get that answer, the final product. On numbers 7 through 14, they've taken those training wheels off, and so I particularly like to show it in the same manner, but I like to have them write the partial product, and let's use that vocabulary word. We call that a partial product. where we are finding the product to a decomposed number. And then we add those partial products together to get the real product. So I'll use the example number 8, 9 times 31. We're going to circle 31, and we're going to break 31 up into 30 and 1, because that's what 31 is. It's 30 plus 1. We're going to distribute that 9, and then instead of writing it down here like the training wheel exercises did, I'm just going to have them write it over here, and then we'll just add them down in our ones or tens and our hundreds. So 9 times 3, cover up the 0, and 9 times 3 is 27, and then put that 0 back. And then 9 times 1 is 9. And then all I have to do is just add it. 0 plus 9 is 9. Bring the 7 down, and we have 2. So our final product is 279. Our partial products, using that vocabulary word, and I encourage you to use it with your child, that is a star word. Okay, so they need to understand what the word partial product means. And these are our partial products, meaning they're part of the final product. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please, I encourage you to contact me and let me know how I can help you solve these problems with your child. Again, this is something that we worked on a couple of days ago. Today's assignment was actually pretty easy for them to understand, so I didn't want to send home something that wasn't going to challenge them. And I wanted you to actually see one of the methods that we're working on in solving 2-digit by 1-digit multiplication. I hope you have a great day, and again, don't hesitate to contact me if you need assistance.